Okay, guys, we are live. The legend is with me tonight. The big kickoff is tomorrow. The big kickoff tomorrow, Dan, from the Mighty Reds TV. Wow, the anticipation is building for the Premier League kickoff. Actually starts tonight with Brentford and Arsenal, but we're really worried about tomorrow. It's Norwich, Liverpool, CARROW Road. How are you?
Oh, mate, I'm absolutely brilliant. Not long back off my holidays, had a good time, refreshed, and I just can't wait for this new season. Now I'm like, what's the cliche? I'm like the kid at Christmas. Can't wait, honestly. Start of a new season. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one for Liverpool, really do.
Listen, as I say, what are we, about 10 weeks since the end of the season last year? It was such a nightmare season last year.
Yeah.
We finished it quite nicely. What was it? 8 wins, 2 draws in the last 10. We finished strongly. Gave us something to hang on to in the summer. Now, we'll talk about little transfers haven't happened other than Ibrahim Kanat came in, obviously, at the start in June. But the bit of news today before we go into the starting 11 for the big game tomorrow, obviously, was the Van Dijk extension till 2025. We've been doing it in dribs and drabs, Dan. The likes of Trent, Fabinho, Ali, Alisson signing long-term deals. Liverpool have been talking about tying down the elite players, the spine of the team for the last while. It's a lot of money, I know. A lot of people don't like hearing that. I'm sure you don't like hearing it too. But Van Dijk is the latest to sign today. I'm sure you're happy with that.
Happy, mate. I'm absolutely over the moon. As you said, we've been doing it in dribs and drabs, haven't we? There's been one a week or so. But yeah. Van Dijk he's almost the top man, isn't he? He's just behind Salah. Hopefully that'll be a deal that we get wrapped up over the next few weeks for Salah. But to get Van Dijk nailed down, contract signed, done, and we've got the main man there for the next few years, he makes such a difference. He's the guy, and Alisson, who turned us from top four contenders into top 1 or 2, and obviously winning it. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Absolute game changer of a signing for Liverpool.
A man mounting.
I mean, listen, he's had a bad injury, and obviously he's a couple of years older now. Whether he can ever get back to that peak of sort of 18 from 2018 to 2020, where I think he was probably he was imperious. It was one of the best centre half performances over consistent period that I've ever seen. Certainly, whether he can ever get back to that, I don't know. But what a difference he's going to make, and I just can't wait to see him play. Really.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I knew it was on the cards, all these spine signings, but Van Dijk's been a game changer for Liverpool when we brought him in. It was big money at the time. Was it 75 million from Southampton? He'd been to Celtic. Yeah. And which was a lot of money.
Yeah, listen, 1 or 2 people were questioning that, wasn't he? And I remember there was like a quote off it comes from Man City. I think it was in the Manchester Evening News. It said they were expecting to sign him. And it said if he comes in, he'll come in initially as backup behind John Stones and Otamendi. It just shows you how ridiculous it was, wasn't it? Because he's absolutely... I remember people saying, is he worth it? It's crazy money. Liverpool have had the kecks pulled down. But wow, what a signing. I mean, he's worth whatever money you can put on him, wouldn't he?
Well, he's priceless to us, isn't he? He's after signing a 4-year. He's after signing a 4-year extension, and to be fair, hope Salah's next. As you know, we've been talking about it earlier. Mo Salah, the king of Egypt, hopefully will sign soon. But we're going to have a nice little chat tonight. As you say, we're going to fill it up. It's a packed show. It's going to be like a pre-supper show. You know what I mean? I just had my dinner. But you know the way in between dinner and supper, there's always that little... It's not, I'm not having a beer. I'm actually having a Coke Zero tonight. But the conversation will certainly not be zero, baby. But listen, I'm going to enjoy this. The anticipation, as I said, for the Premier League is huge. Been building for about the last 10 weeks since it closed down last time. And what I wanted was getting the lads back, getting them fit, getting them a good pre-season. And as we know, this is one of the best pre-seasons we've had for Liverpool. It's one of the first times we've had all the boys back together. The likes of Mane and Salah have never had proper pre-seasons. I mean, signing autographs with crowds of people, going away on these pre-season tours to the States or Asia. That hasn't happened. And Klopp would say it's over the bloody moon because we know he doesn't like them. He doesn't like this type of thing. And his dream came true when you're in Austria for a few weeks and then Avion in France as well for a week. And it was just like dreamland. That's what he likes. He's like a school teacher bringing the kids away on a school tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he said that. he said that before, hasn't he? As you've alluded to there, the things in America and Australia and all that, that's for the sponsors. And he always says his week in Avion is his week, you know what I mean? So we'll have absolutely loved it. There has been a bit of disruption with players coming back later, but not so much, really. We've had most of the main players there, haven't we?
Absolutely.
And brilliant. I mean, I just can't wait for it now. As I say, it's going to be a really sort of exciting season for us, I think.
Owen from the Cop On podcast will probably drop in a few minutes as well.
Yeah, good.
Parachuting in, you know Owen, do you? You know Owen from the Cop On podcast?
Yeah, I me and Owen go back years.
Is that Michael Owen or Owen? Anyway, Helen Raybold is in, Mark Forrest, Zach.
Hello, Helen.
John Moore, the legends are here. And there's a new legend flying in from Paris. It's Owen from the Cop On podcast.
Hi, guys. I'm in Spain.
Hello, mate. You okay?
For a swim. I'm very well. Lovely to see you. I'm living the life of Riley. It's 45 degrees. It's going, well, it was today. It's going up to 48 degrees tomorrow. Absolutely crazy. But
I never knew France got that hot, Owen.
It's Spain. Yeah, I'm in Spain.
You're in Spain. Sorry, I apologise. I didn't even know. To be fair, I didn't even know Spain ever got that hot. I was there a few weeks ago, but I never knew it had temperatures like that.
Climate change, baby.
Yeah, plant some trees, people. Plant some trees.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Go ahead, Owen. Go ahead. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Anyway.
Thank you very much. It's great to see you guys, and I don't know. I guess I'm as excited as you are.
Absolutely.
About tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow. But before we get on to tomorrow, I was just asking Dan from the Mighty Reds TV about the big news today that broke. VVD, Virgil van Dijk, signing the contract extension. Owen, what is your salubrious information? What is your first thoughts? Obviously, you thought it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time type of thing. But I say you were happy with that news, were you?
I like it. I think it's the timing that I like as much as anything. Just before the season starts, it's the boost that everyone needs. It gives you a little bit of a, fuzzy feeling, a warm and fuzzy feeling, like you're sort of, you've got it's kind of a hot water bottle on a winter's day, and it's got some kind of furry covering, and you're lying down, and it's all very comfortable. It's that kind of everything is safe, everything is good. And you're going to drift off into dreamland, and dream about scoring at Anfield again. It's great because Leeds, for example, Leeds United, their fans have been fretting a lot more than we've been fretting about VVD signing a contract. But their fans have been fretting about whether Bielsa was going to sign, and that news broke yesterday. And this timing is very deliberate from the club. I think, just before the season starts, you tie down Alisson, Fabinho, Trent and Virgil, and it just makes the future look red and red.
Well, I was going to say orange for Holland. The future is orange. Wasn't that an ad, I think? But anyway, the main thing as well, the other thing is, as I was just saying to Dan before you came on, this pre-season has been Klopp's dream. This pre-season has been what dreams are pre-seasons. If Carlsberg made pre-seasons, this would be this is a Carlsberg dream for Klopp, because we know he doesn't like those games in America and Asia and going away signing autographs, signing books and all this type of stuff. And, he's a schoolmaster. He likes his kids to go on a history tour, a proper training tour where they're learning stuff. And they come off that tour bus and they're all happy and you're smiling and everyone's fit, except for Robertson, of course, who has a bit of a niggle for 2 or 3 weeks. But other than that, everyone's had a great pre-season and I'm ready to rock and roll, baby. Are you?
Oh, man, yeah. The preseason was perfect. I love the way that Jurgen was saying that, they've been working on things they would need later in this season when there's no time to work on them now. And, the group's all together. Kanate came early, he was signed early. So, everyone who wasn't away. Imagine, Sadio Mane, for example. I rejigged my fantasy football team 1,000 times, but I made sure I put Mane and Salah in, because I think Mane and Salah are they're just. I don't understand why no one's backing Liverpool. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I had very little to do today apart from work on my FPL team. On YouTube, there's a function and it says it can tell you what's live. And there was a Chelsea fan TV, and I decided to just watch it.
Wow.
And then the host of that put in the link to StreamYard. He used StreamYard as well. And I jumped on their chat and I was talking to them about Chelsea. And there were about, 100 people, 150 people watching. None of them thought Liverpool had a chance. Yeah. And when I looked at the pundits yesterday, 42, and I counted 42 out of 42 pundits said that either Chelsea or Manchester City, or even among the most deluded ones, Manchester United, were going to win the league. And I wonder what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah, well, fuck them is what I say. But I mean, like, Dan, what did you think? You see that on Twitter, did you? There was a list of pundits, so-called pundits, writing Liverpool off.
I loved it. I love it. I always do. I hate it when we're favourites for anything. It always stresses me out. I hate it when everyone's saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It stresses me out. Let's just go under the radar. That's what they think. Listen, we finished third last season with an absolute patchwork team. Finished the season with academy graduates who, with the best will in the world, are probably not going to be Premier League players for Liverpool, at least. Makeshift team, struggling all season. Stuff off the pitch going wrong for us, and we still sort of come through and ended up being the form team in the country by the end of the season once we sort of found some sort of equilibrium. I think it's brilliant. Keep writing us off, everybody. I'm totally confident that we're going to have a great season again. We'll love it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't care what they say, to be fair. I couldn't give a... But listen, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll jump straight into it. The big one tomorrow at 5:30, of course, it's Norwich, Liverpool. Norwich were brilliant in the championship. They won the championship. They have a really good manager. They've a lovely ground. They've lovely fans. They've a lovely canary. They've lovely colours, orange, green and yellow. But I mean, will the canaries be singing tomorrow? Or will the liverbird rise in anticipation to a fantastic away win? And I think they will. Dan, I'm going to go to you first. I can see Jackie Boy's in the green room. He's drinking all the champagne. We'll bring him in now. But Dan, what do you think tomorrow?
I've always got this little theory about I never like to play the promoted teams early on because they've always been, obviously they've had a good season the season before and they've won promotion and they normally come up with a bit of swagger and the players are all fresh and they sort of have a go, don't they? And sometimes they can spring a few surprises early on. What tends to happen is as the season goes on, they start to lose a few games and lose a few bit of confidence and slip down towards the bottom of the table. And that's where they stay. And then, so if you play them around Christmas or the end of the season, they're normally easy pickings for 3 points. But sometimes at the start, they can give you the tricky game. That said, listen, we're Liverpool, let's be honest. We've got 6, 7, 8 world-class players who potentially could be in a World 11. We've got to go there. We've got to put on a performance. We've got to win. And I think after last season, I think our players would have been so frustrated last season as things sort of drifted away, the injuries, things going against them, all the VAR, and I think they'll be like caged tigers this season. They'll want that title back, and I think we're going to go there and we'll get a good win tomorrow.
I love the positivity, Daniel. You're absolutely right. No, absolutely. Jack Mack has appeared out of the mist.
Jack.
Jackie boy.
I like Dan. How you doing, Owen, as well? How you doing, chat as well?
I think Connor might want to come on as well. I'll send you the link in a second, Connor from the Cop Council. But Jack, you've just come in there. We mentioned, we're obviously on about the Norwich game tomorrow, and we mentioned the VVD. You were on with Connor from the Cop Council a few minutes ago, live. I seen you were live, but you were happy with the VVD? Just we get an answer from you for that this morning. I see you were over the moon. Yeah,
buzzing. No better way to wake up to. Big Verge. Another 5 years of that monster. Phenomenal. He's improved Liverpool tenfold, really. In terms of obviously the defensive unit, and he helped us win the Champions League. But it's the sheer impact in which he's made, Dave, and Red's in it. I'm trying to think of a player that's made that big of an impact in my era. Obviously, watching Liverpool, obviously Suarez when he come in set the Premier light. But in terms of winning titles, Virgil van Dijk and Ali, those two, as well as Mo getting the goals. But yeah, he's very integral to Liverpool's plans, and I'm just made up. We have signed him down with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're all. And tomorrow, obviously, I want your word. Just a quick thought. We go through the starting 11. We go through every player attending, every fan attending. We can go through the whole thing tomorrow. But what do you think tomorrow? Are you confident we get the 3 points? We start the season 21-22 off with a delicious 3 points.
Yeah, I spoke to Owen a couple of days as well on this show. Very positive. I think I'm going to go. Went with my prediction. I don't know if you've done your predictions, Dave, but I think I went 4-0. I'm very positive. I know it's going to be difficult for Norwich, but as Dan's alluded to, we've got 7 to 8 world-class players in our squad, and if we can play to our best ability, really, in terms of just getting at them, Norwich possibly would play into Liverpool's hands in terms of the way in which they do approach football. They're a very attacking-minded team, not a Burnley or a Sam Allardyce team, really, that sits behind the ball, really soaks up possession and looks to counter-attack, mate. But it's exciting. I was speaking to Connor just before we come on, Dave, that I'm excited from a neutral to see how they do approach the Premier League. If you're a Norwich fan, you want to see that. Yeah, you might get relegated, but how many teams have we seen, like a West Brom, a Fulham, come into the Premier League and not really give it a go and just being a bit drab in terms of the way in which they approach football?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Owen, your take on tomorrow. Do we hit the ground running? I think we will have to hit the ground running, to be fair. This season's going to be a hard slog. It's going to be a high point season, I think.
I'll take a 5-4. But I think, it depends if we get the early goal. It's the old early goal shout. If we get the early goal, that will kill the crowd. The crowd, they could make a massive difference. Norwich back in the Premier League, but they lost. I was listening to a Norwich say, I don't know if it was on the Anfield Wrap. I can't remember. I've listened to so many podcasts. It's ridiculous. I'm getting so excited. But there was one Norwich fan anyway was saying that Buendia was the best player that they'd ever seen play for Norwich, and to lose that guy is huge for them. Rumours abound that Cantwell won't start. He's got a problem with his ankle. I don't know if that's true or not. But I think if we get the early goal, I think we could get 5-0. If we don't get the early goal, it could be a lot more difficult than people are expecting. Maybe it could go down to the last minute. But I think we will get the win. I do think we will get the win. I do feel it in the bones. I mean, the world-class players Dan was talking about, think of them. It starts all the way at the back. Alisson, Virgil.
I dream of them. I don't only think of them, I dream of them.
I dreamt I scored at Anfield 2 nights ago, actually. As it's about the 50th thing. But anyway.
What was her name?
Very good. Very good, Dave.
Beautiful. Keep going.
But that's it, really. I think I don't know. I'm getting confused. I'm getting lost into my daydream reveries of scoring at Anfield and all the different ways that could be interpreted.
Exactly. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll obviously give us a quick. What you think will start tomorrow? There's been a lot of connotations. There's a lot of things that can happen. It's like picking the lottery numbers, I think, with Liverpool. There's a lot of different. The system will be 4-3-3. We know that. But Dan? We'll start with you. What do you think you'll go with tomorrow? Do you want to give it?
I think that the goalkeeper and the back four. I was going to say it's going to pick itself there, but it won't.
It's not really.
Alice will play in goal. Kent will play right back. I think Simicast is obviously going to play left back. Centre half positions. I honestly haven't got a clue, because you think, is he going to play Gomez and Van Dijk, rushing them back? I honestly couldn't tell you. Will he want to play Canate in his first Premier League game? Because Norwich are going to be up and at them. Might the pace take him by surprise? It's a bit of a step up from where he's playing last year and maybe playing in pre-season. The pace might just catch him out a little bit. We've seen players come in before and struggle. So that's an interesting one. I think Matip will play and Van Dijk will be. Midfield, Fabinho will be one of them. After that, no idea, mate. So what do you guys think about the midfield? That's the one where I just can't work it out myself.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I'll give you my 11, and then I'll just go sleep. Allison in goal. We'll have Trent.
Yeah.
I think Van Dijk starts tomorrow with Matip. I really do. With Tsimikas, because Robertson's not there, and he's done well in pre-season. Fabinho, Keita, and Milner. I think you'll go quite tight in the midfield.
Sorry, Dave. Who was your other centre back?
So Matip and Van Dijk.
Matip, yeah, they agree with me then. Yeah, fair play.
And Salah, Jota, and Mane. That's my 11.
And sorry, who was your midfield again, mate? Fabinho,
Naby Lad, and Milner.
Yeah, interesting.
Owen is jumping. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Liverpool fan base on Twitter will be absolutely over the moon to see James Milner start, won't they? I can just imagine.
Yeah. That's why I said it. I said it for likes. Owen, what do you think? Just a quick 11 for tomorrow.
I had exactly the same 11, but let me just check this curveball out. I would pick the same 11 as you, Dave, 100%. But let me throw a curveball out. Imagine 4 at the back. Say, pick whoever you want at centre back. They're all world class. 2 holding midfielders, Fabinho and Milner.
Yeah.
And all 4 attackers.
Whoa. He rarely risks it away from home. At home, he might do that, but away. But then again,
he loves surprising people, though. He loves surprising people. He hasn't played it in pre-season, so that he's got no particular reason to. But you never know with Klopp, and it is an idea, and it's great
I'll tell you what. He might find a place for Ox because I think he's been salivating at Ox in pre-season.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ox. He
That's a possibility.
Like coming into some kind of rhythm, which is, you better watch out the rest of the league. If Chamberlain gets in rhythm, I think he's England's best midfielder when he gets into rhythm. Really?
It's the rhythm of the night. Jackie boy, what's your 11, baby?
Yeah, that would be a spot on that, Owen. Welcome to the Premier League, to Norwich. Playing those 4 up front. Yeah, Dave, I've gone with Ali in goal, of course. Trent, right back. Then I go with Van Dijk if he's fully fit. I know it's a bit of a risk, but I think the sensible choice would be Matip to play him. But for me, I'm picking the lineup, so I'll go with Van Dijk and Ibu. I think the amount of money you do pay, we've seen it against Osasuna. He's very comfortable on the ball. And he's got to start games really, and the amount of money we paid for him, I think just whack him in. I think he'd be very comfortable in the Premier League, and it's not like you're throwing him in against a Man United or a City. No discredit to Norwich, but those 2, the Great Wall of Anfield, those 2 at the heart of Liverpool's defence. Costas, Fabinho in the holding role, and then I went with Jimmy James Milner, and then Harvey Elliott. Big shout. To play in midfield. Yeah. But I think that would be amazing to see him for me. I know it's a big shout, and if Jürgen did, but we've seen a young Trent get played one weekend at Old Trafford, and for me, Klopp trusts this lad. He's only 18 years old, but he will eventually, and he's played against Norwich last year in the Championship. I'm not too sure if he got a goal, but there's no better player suited in that lineup to play against the City team, so he'll know their play. A Salah on the right wing, Sadio Mane, and then main man Bobby Firmino doing his karate kicks once he does get those goals. But and then obviously the bench, and then you look at obviously you got on Ox for me, Ox, Naby, Matip, Gomez. But yeah, that'll be my start 11, mate.
Do you know what we were thinking? I was thinking we should have done. We should have took Suarez on loan for the 2 games, the home and away Norwich games. But what a game! What games and goals they were ridiculous. But I'm confident tomorrow, guys. I don't want to be overconfident because, as we know, first games of a season you'll always get 1 or 2 where what the hell happened there? Always, every season it throws it up. Liverpool not so much in the past 10, 15 years. It's rare that they lose the first game of the season. So Liverpool will be ready to rock and roll. 3 points is so important. Just to get that 3 points, get a few goals, maybe even a clean sheet, a little Brucey bonus. It's always important. And then we have 2 home games, Burnley at home, Chelsea at home. So tomorrow, does anybody know much? Okay, so we've Norwich. We'll have a quick look at the Norwich team. I'm not going to go through the whole team. We go through who you think will cause problems. I like that lad, Todd Cantwell. He can do things, but he can do them very well. Todd Cantwell in midfield. He's a proper player, isn't he? Owen?
Yes, he is. He wasn't as productive statistically as Buendia last season. 15 goals, 15 assists for Buendia. Cantwell had, from memory, I'll check it now, but around about 6 or 7 goals and about 15 assists as well. And yeah, did you see the goal he scored against Gillingham? It was only against Gillingham in pre-season, but he basically ran around the whole team and then
he ran. Yeah, he came back for the return. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah,
I mean he's a wonderful talent, and if he were ever Jurgened in his life, he could step up a number of levels, and attract a very large fee from someone. But he's very, very, very strong young player, technically gifted. I like his heart and his passion from what I remember from 2 seasons ago. And we've got to watch him. And Teemu Pukki as well. Do you know the Finns? I got a friend, my Finnish friend Veli, told me a chant. It's my favourite chant. I very rarely remember the chants, apart from the Liverpool ones. But when Brazil came to Finland to play a friendly match, the Finnish fans started singing, "We've got Pukki. Who the hell have you got?" And I thought that was
do you know what? That Pukki guy is a great finisher. Oh my God, he is. I actually do like him. Look,
he's good.
He is a good finisher. Dan, are you worried about any of the Canaries or Delia Smith coming down onto the pitch, hitting people over the head with cakes?
I wouldn't mind. No, that would be entertaining, wouldn't it? Be more entertaining than football. It was great, wasn't it? When she went, it was a while ago. That wasn't it? She was on the pitch. It was years ago, about 2005. What was it saying? Come on, let's be having you. I think she'd had a little sherry, hadn't she, in the director's box? Once too many. But yeah, definitely, yeah. But other than that, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know all about Norwich City in the Championship. I haven't got a clue. I think Owen summed it up perfectly. I'll just go with whatever he said. Whoever he said the danger men, I'll go with it, because I haven't got a clue, mate.
Yeah, no panic. Jackie boy, I know you're like a connoisseur of Norwich and Norwich City.
Oh yeah, no, second favourite team. It's the Max Aarons. I think I've seen a lot of clubs are after him in the summer, down that right hand side. Detriment to Norwich if he does stay in the Premier League. Obviously a couple of weeks left in the transfer window, but him tickles me fancy. Very good player in terms of going forward. Jeff Sargent, not seen a lot of him, but I've seen clips on the Bundesliga last year. I think it was Werder Bremen, but he just signed him. Rashika, obviously the Kosovo international as well. I think he played against England. He's a very tricky, small, agile player. He's very good at getting in behind the lines. But and the lads have already mentioned Tom Cantwell and Teemu Pukki, really. But Buendia, as the lads have already mentioned tonight on the show, it'll be a massive miss. It'll be interesting to see if any of those players can step up to that mantle for Norwich. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It's exciting to see when you do look at Norwich's team. There's not a lot of big players, like big standouts. Obviously, Buendia last year was in the Championship and when they were in the Premier League. But I'm hoping they do have a quite collective, compact team, and really all of them rates the game. Bit like Liverpool, that there's no really individual players. They play together as much as how good they are. But Rashika, I'm interested to see him play this year, mate.
Woohoo! The Premier League has officially started.
Arsenal get beat 4. Is it 4-0 Brentford already?
Well, we're only 30 seconds. We're only 30 seconds in. But before we're actually going to... Sorry, go ahead, on.
No, just very quickly, I was completely wrong what I said about Cantwell. That it was 6 goals, but it was only 6 assists in 30 matches. So
I was thinking when you said 15, I said, wow, that's a good return, that 15 assists.
He was it must have been 15 in my dream the other night.
But, I'll tell you what, guys. We're going to finish off the actual football talk in a few minutes, but we'll end the show for probably the last 10, 15 minutes chatting about anything and anything that goes 80s, 90s style, baby. And get your questions into the comments. Movies, music, cartoons, the lot, conspiracy theories. Before we get into that amazing jungle of gibberish, what's your predictions and goal scoring form for tomorrow? I'm going to go 2-0, Norwich 0, Liverpool to a lovely clean sheet. Salah to get off to goal scoring form, and Mane in the mirror. So 2-0 for me. Danny boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go 2-0. Salah, you've always got to fancy him. He likes to get off to a good start. And I'm gonna say Bobby Firmino. You know, he's banged a few in pre-season, hasn't he? He looks sharp. Yeah, I think he struggled a bit last season. I think he'll be really determined just to get back amongst the goals this season a little bit more. I'm going to go 2-0 Firmino and Salah.
All right. Owen?
I may as well go for the 5. 2 for Bobby Firmino. Yeah. 1 for Salah. 1 for Mane. And 1 for Big Virgil, because it's the beginning of the season. I'm completely excited. I'm overexcited. I've lost all objectivity. So 5-0, I think, at least.
Oh, my God. 5-0, 2-0, 2-0. Jackie boy, finish the quartet.
10-0, no, 4-0. 4-0, then I go Liverpool.
Okay, now.
Hopefully Salah does bang a hat-trick because I got him on my fantasy football as captain. So, yeah, I go with Salah 2, Mane, and Bobby. I think go 4-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just hope no Norwich City fans are watching this show. They will be disappointed that they haven't even scored a goal in the opening game. But I'm confident. I don't want to be overconfident, but I think it'll be a tough enough game. As Owen said, it's very important to get an early goal. And I think once we score early, I think it's they're in trouble. Sorry, Dan, what were we going to say?
No, I was going to say, like I said to Paul Machin before, mate, let's hope there is some Norwich fans watching it, because then if they get a win or something, they'll clip it, won't they? And we'll go viral. We'll go massive all over East Anglia. That'll be all right, The win-win, innit? Like I said to Machin before.
I seen that on Twitter. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Guys, for the last, 10 minutes, we might just get into a little bit of anything goes. Keep it clean. Keep it real. Get the questions in the comments, or even if you guys can think of anything there, just last 5-10 minutes, just to lighten up the mood for a Friday night.
Oh, I was going to mention the footy, Dave, on the PSG.
I
was going to say, we'll talk about PSG. Have you seen they've been linked with Ronaldo today?
Ronaldo.
Cristiano
Ronaldo, Dave.
Genie Ronaldo. I don't know who he is. No, listen, they're joking. I don't want to get into a plastics talk. I don't want to be talking about Visa cards, checkbooks, money. It's Friday night, baby. I want to loosen up. More like Dynasty, Dallas, Falcon Crest. What was your favorite show on as a youngster, like in shorts, when the televisions had just been invented? What was your show?
Well, funnily enough, that the man here, hang on, it's the other way, Mickey Friars. And which way is it there? It is there. Mickey Friars was saying about He-Man being back on Netflix. He-Man was my big program when I was a kid, but they've relaunched it on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but it's being absolutely panned by everybody, by the critics, because they've changed it all around, and it's now woke. He-Man is woke, apparently. That's what it is.
Is it called They Man?
No, I think it's primarily based around one of the female characters now. I mean, I don't know how you can get a program about big muscly men fighting with swords and somehow change it to being woke, but they have done.
There was She-Ra. She-Ra was He-Man's sister.
Yeah, I think it might be based mostly around there, but I haven't watched it because it's been absolutely panned by the critics.
Well, see, the problem is a lot of the 80s stuff, if you look over on YouTube, 70s even worse, some of the stuff in the 70s and 80s would not get past the censorship forms. Some of the stuff on my channel wouldn't get past.
The worst was like Zippy, wasn't it? I mean, remember, I didn't grow up watching Zippy, but some of the video clips I've seen, it was like Zippy, the the stuff they've said, I'm like, bloody hell.
I'll have to check
Zippy, 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 the bush kangaroo. That was. I used to love that. What was that on Friday night? I used to be on a. What the hell is that? That's Dan's kids. It has to be.
It is. The mum's in. I don't know why she won't go and deal with them. Can I just dive off a minute, boys? I'll be back in a minute. I'll do myself here.
Stick him in front of TV.
So, Owen, what do you like as a kid? I don't know whether you watch much telly as a kid. Back in the
I watched a hell of a lot
80s.
of telly as a kid. Yeah, I used to go home and I don't know. I was a little bit weird as a kid. I'm sure you can't imagine. And apparently, my mum was telling me this story about when I used to go to day school, and she'd pick me up, and after about 6 months, my teacher apparently thought that I never used. That I couldn't talk yet, even though I was about 3 or 4. My teacher thought I couldn't talk because I didn't say a word for like 6 months in nursery school. But every day I used to go home and watch Star Wars. That was my sort of routine. So I used to go to school, be completely silent, come home and watch VHS of Star Wars. Episode 1, the first one, episode 4, and I knew all the whistles of R2D2, and I knew all of the script and everything, but I never used to speak to anyone. So there you go.
Do you know what it is? I think you were so super intelligent that you're in school. A bit like Einstein. He used to shut up and say nothing at the back of the class. You know what I mean?
Well, there's that fine line between stupidity and genius. I'll let you guess which side of the line I'm on, Dave.
Owen's a secret Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight, yeah. But don't look. You were like this. You're doing the mind control to the teacher. Do not call me up to the blackboard. Do not call me up to the. We will not call Owen up today to the blackboard. But listen, I guys, I absolutely love the idea. I found this YouTube channel. I forget the name of it now, but. It's about this guy, and he goes around all the film sets of 80s movies, the likes of Lost Boys, The Goonies, all these. He goes to the actual where they made it, say in the village or where they made the film and stuff like that. It's absolutely dreamland stuff.
Awesome.
And he's meeting. I don't know. I only seen it yesterday, but I watched 2 episodes. Lost Boys, another classic 80s. The music in it.
I've been to that bridge. That bridge where the vampires are. I've been to the
where they hang down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been to the real one. I didn't see anyone hanging from it, but it was. It's nice. It's in Santa Cruz in California, and my friend Shane was living there when I went to visit him. Whoa, your kids changed, Dan.
Barking. That was. I'm barking mad.
It's like an episode of Manimal.
I love that program.
This is why I have cats saying that. You probably heard Tilly anyway. Tilly's probably in the garden. Me cat.
I know who Tilly is. Yeah. I do know who Tilly is. Oh my! Dave can be the emperor. What? The Emperor Strikes Back. But no, I used to love all those 80s movies, and the cartoons were exceptional. The background music, the intros, they were like a bloody, 20-piece band. Jason and the Argonauts, anything you wanted. Jason the Wheeled Warriors it was called. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know where they're. Do you remember him? What was it? Doug Tannion and the Muskehounds. And the Muskehounds.
And over one. That was brilliant, wasn't it? Brilliant.
It was absolutely brilliant. It was, yeah. Do you remember that? Oh, that was it. It was in France, obviously. The Muskehounds.
Well, that's why I moved to France. Yeah, I mean,
that's
I thought
exactly why you moved there.
Like. That's why I moved there.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What a film. Hellraiser. Oh, you can't be. I wouldn't watch that. I thought that was scary. That was scary. Hellraiser. No. All right, you have to give me a good one. The scariest movie you ever watched, either as an adult or a child. Usually a child is probably more of a problem. I'm going to throw it at Dan. He's scratching his head.
The film, I'm back from bum wiping duties, by the way, but I have washed my hands, don't worry about that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm back. He was like that, but Daddy, will you come and wipe my bum? But I'm back anyway, yeah. Right, where was the scariest film? I'm going to say the one, you know what film I loved? I loved the American version of The Ring, and I loved the Japanese version of The Ring. They're both brilliant, but my favourites was a horror film that I love, and I always go back to, because so many different layers to it, is The Shining. I absolutely love that film. It's a brilliant, brilliant film. And what I love about it is, you can watch it just as a ghost story film about a haunted hotel, and it works on that level, and it's brilliant on that level. But if you do a little bit of research into it, there's so many underlying levels that Stanley Kubrick put into it. It's brilliant, and so many different theories. Some people even believe that it was it's about the moon landings. I don't believe that, but what I'm saying is there's so many different things weaved into it. It's brilliant, and I can watch it and watch it again, and it's my favourite horror film, no doubt about it, The Shining.
No, you're right, absolutely brilliant. You could watch it 20 times and see something different every time you watch it. That's what you mean, different layers.
It's weird the way it's so unnerving, even like the weird little hexagon carpet and all that. It's iconic, isn't it? It's brilliant. And you know what the funny thing was? Stephen King wrote it. He absolutely hated it.
Wow. Owen, have you any scary tales?
Well, I don't watch much TV. I listen to it's a ridiculous amount of podcasts, ridiculous. 3 hours a day I'm listening to podcasts at least. And I a lot of them are Liverpool based, but I do like to, go off into different genres. And I was for a while into true crime podcasts. I found that, but I find them too scary now. And even true crime things on Netflix, because when you watch a series, for me, I find it just really easy to think, well, that's just tomato ketchup, that's not blood, and that's just they just rubbed a bit of pea soup on a child's face on The Exorcist, and they got a model to turn around. It's not real. It's very easy to dissociate, but the fact that it's real. And so for me, the scariest thing on Netflix is something called The Night Stalker, which is about a serial killer in Los Angeles. Yeah. And it's absolutely terrifying. It's this absolute wanker who thought that he was...
Hang on, family show this.
No, honestly, excuse me, I'm an English teacher, Dan, and I think there is one word for this guy, and it's wanker. And there's no other word for it, because he was out of his mind a little bit, with drugs and drink and all that stuff. But he believed that he was possessed by Satan, and Satan would make him kill people. Asshole, if you prefer. But real. But it scared me so much that I had to lock the door. I don't know, because he just used to come into people's houses at random and kill them, basically. And it's properly terrifying because it's real,
No, but life is scary. But I mean, at the end of the day, I like them. I know what you mean, the serial killer podcast. There's loads of them on YouTube. I think they've taken off. The biggest podcasts in the world are apparently murder and serial killer ones. So there must be a lot of people interested to get the most hits. So there's something going on. There's something going on there. You know what I mean?
There's something interesting about it, but it's scary as hell.
Maybe we should rebrand the channel. Should we rebrand the channel, Dave?
To what?
Should we rebrand it into some sort of murder mystery thing, real life? You just said to get the most hits. Let's do it.
That's it, yeah. Dave's Mysterious World.
I love it. I'd subscribe
straight away, baby. Jackie boy is just sitting back there, just dreaming of a beautiful serial killer podcast. Well, you're not into that type of thing, or are you into it?
I'm watching something horror day, and it's absolutely Brentford batting Arsenal in the first 15 minutes.
That's not a horror.
That's a horror.
Is there any goal yet?
They hit the post Brentford before. Shouldn't really scored already. Yeah, still 0-0.
Don't worry, lads. I won't leave you on too long. We'll finish it. We'll finish it in a few minutes.
I can multitask, Dave, anyway. I haven't listened. The horrors, as I said, Dave, I grew up on horrors, really. Nothing really fazed me. Probably bad. I was probably about 5 or 6 watching an 18. But yeah, modern horrors now, basically thrillers, aren't they? Like jump scare films.
Yeah.
I grew up on Michael Myers, but probably wasn't the most scariest, but it's got to be
Halloween.
The Exorcist, the original one. I think when I was very young. It's just weird. And like in the time period that was released, it got banned from the cinemas and everything, didn't it? Because it was that scary. People honestly thought it was real on the cinema screens, mate. But yeah, for that, and at a certain point in time where I was quite young watching that, probably not best advice. But we always like that. And yeah, definitely the old Exorcist, not
the original. The some of those 70s, early 80 movies were terrifying. I mean, I remember watching The Thing.
Yeah, great film.
God, the original one I'm talking. They made a remake. The remakes are crap. But I mean, the Salem's Lot. Do you remember another Stephen King book, Salem's Lot, with what his name? It used to be in Starsky and Hutch with David Soul was in it.
Yeah.
The original one, oh my God. Scraping at the window. Let me in. It was just fantastic.
Pet Cemetery as well, the additional one. Yeah.
I actually did like not mind the remake of that, but yeah, Pet Sematary. He made so many great horrors, didn't he? Stephen King, brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Misery's a good one.
Who?
Misery. Oh, wow.
Misery.
His addiction to cocaine, isn't it? It's
is it?
It's a sort of allegory about his addiction to cocaine. You know, because the bad person in it, the evil woman in it, is represents cocaine, and it's hold on his life. But it's a brilliant story. And
you blow my mind there, Owen, and I never knew that. And I'm a bit of a movie nerd, and I never knew that, and I've never put it together. But it just shows you sometimes, as I say, with a bit like The Shining, you can just take it as what it is. Yeah. And then there's these little we can delve into it deeper. But yeah, I mean, what a performance, by the way, in that film. Not only by James Caan, but by Kathy Bates. I think she won the Oscar. But what I'm saying is, you could remake that film, but no one would ever top her in that, would she? She is. That character, isn't she?
She's an evil bitch in that now, let's be fair. And it comes across brilliantly. That's part of it.
But what's great, sorry Dave, what's great about it, she snaps from being sweet as apple pie to evil. And just the face changes. What a performance, brilliant.
But isn't that the reality? Isn't that the way, like, serial killers and everything? Oh, he was a lovely man next door. He used to cut his grass there with 15 bodies underneath the patio. So, like, it's always that's the way it is, isn't it? In real, like Fritzl and all these guys and Jeffrey Dahmer, all the famous serial killers. No one knew they were serial. That's how they got away with it, because they didn't. Nobody looks like a serial killer. Isn't that the whole idea of it? Do you know what I mean? And they're usually fairly intelligent as well. But guys, I've absolutely loved this podcast. I could go on all night long. But we'll finish in another minute or two. We'll finish on music, actually. And I remember when Thriller came out, I think it was 83. I was about 10 years old. My brother ran up the cul-de-sac to me and goes, Dave, there's this video out. Michael Jackson's in it. And you won't even want to watch it. I know you like Michael Jackson, but you're not going to watch it. It's scary. There's zombies in it. There's werewolves in it. And I was like, oh my God. And of course, it was Thriller. And the rest is history.
He was ahead of his time there.
I've got a good fact.
No!
That I don't exactly know 100% all the details, but the guy who wrote Thriller, I'm gonna have to find it because I think he was from somewhere like Wigan. Rod, that's it. Rod Temperton. That's his name.
I think there was two writers. No, Bruce,
keyboardist and songwriter.
Bruce Sweden was involved.
Possibly,
and he wasn't from Sweden. His name is Bruce Sweden, but anyway.
No, but Rod Temperton, he wrote Boogie Nights. He wrote that in the 70s.
Oh, the famous.
But he grew up. Where is he from? I've got it here. He's from Cleethorpes in Lincolnshire. He was born on 9th of October 1949 in Cleethorpes, and this is the man who wrote the hook for Thriller and the main and idea behind it all. He's like one of the most unknown legends of pop music and funk and disco and soul music. And he's just some kid from England who was working in a factory and somehow ended up writing Thriller and making loads of money and working with Quincy Jones. And I'm going to have to find out, or you're going to have to find out if you're interested. Look at the story of Rod Temperton, because it's pretty amazing how you go from Cleethorpes to a worldwide multi-platinum number one everywhere.
Oh my God, everywhere. It was the biggest selling for, I think, it was 50 million albums. See, I think kids don't understand now. It's all about streams and nearly like buttons, like to be a number one. That's not the same as selling bleeding records in a record store for me. I don't care what anybody says, but for you to walk out to a shop or have to get a bus or 2 buses to go in and buy a bloody record was a big deal for me to say it's number one. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally different thing, isn't it?
Different level.
Imagine like if the Beatles were out and they had that much of an impact like in today's society. I think obviously with music's changed, the industry's changed so much, but like my mum and dad and obviously that generation as well, like they were massive, weren't they? Like massive, like the fact that people in America actually knew these benefit of the
sorry, we spoiled it for you there, haven't we, Jack?
It's all right.
Jack's happy. Jack's happy. Yeah, Jack's happy. I had a feeling Brentford are going to win. I think, Jack, you were saying 2-1, but I had a feeling Brentford would beat Arsenal tonight. Arsenal are fucking arse.
That might be our old lad that we used to have, Canos, in the academy. Hang on, if it's Canos, then that sounds.
But do you know what? This podcast is only getting better as it goes. It's like a bottle of wine. It just gets better and better, baby. But do you know what another band I used to love? I think, Dan, you like them as well. And these guys, when you look into the history of them, they were brothers, but they've had tragedy. But the Bee Gees, baby. OMG. Wow. The songs they wrote that they didn't even sing. Oh, my God. These guys.
The thing with the Bee Gees is, Dave, I mean, I grew up and I wasn't really a massive fan of them. I always associated them with that sort of falsetto disco stuff that they did in the late 70s. And I've actually grown to like that over the years. But the stuff they did in the 60s, oh my God, off that Yellow album, the Greatest Hits Yellow album, Massachusetts and all that sort of stuff, that's as good as anything of its era. It was brilliant. The harmonies are like something else and the melody is brilliant.
And they did a lot of tragedy, didn't he? A lot of tragedy. The young lad that died early, and then all the other 2 brothers died. Only Barry Gibb was left, the lead singer. Like,
yeah. There's only the one of them. One of them still going, isn't it? But the way it goes, I suppose, isn't it? Unfortunately, but yeah, as I say, I used to just think of them as this like cheesy falsetto disco band, but they had like basically another whole history, but absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, were you a Bee Gees man, Owen, or is that not your cup of tea?
I know. Yeah, I've never. I mean, I do like. A couple of their tunes. I'm never like. It's nice when it comes on. It's kind of happy, uplifting kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. But I don't know if you know this. I played music for many years as well, and sort of studied music. I was a professional musician for about 1.5 years. And if you look at the Bee Gees, the way that they structure their songs, it's brilliant. It's really subtle and it's really complex and it's really clever. So I've got a lot of respect for them in the same way that I do ABBA, because I don't really like the music. Like I've never chosen to put on the Bee Gees or ABBA or anything, but when it's on, I happily listen to it, and you listen to how it's constructed, and it's like, wow, these guys, they're real, they're breaking new ground and still keeping it simple with catchy hooks and stuff like that. But it's not simple, like so much, of the drivel you get, it's
rubbish that you get these days. Yeah, but I mean, anybody that's going for 40 years, 50 years, nearly. 4 or 5 decades to be going and still going is just Thierry unreal. I know Jack's looking at us going, the Bee Gees, who are they? ABBA, what are they?
I know I'm young, Dave, but you know the classic Bee Gees anyway. So when you go to a family parties now, 70s and 80s tunes, come on. Yeah, I'm dancing like the quality ones. Oh, one go, just quick one on that. The Brentford goal. I don't know what they're appealing for. Is it offside? That ball's actually out of play.
We had our first controversy of the season already.
Yeah, it's so tight that the ball went out to the byline, and obviously on the resulting cross cutback, they scored. That's
good
interesting.
Finish. The Cure. I like the Cure. Actually, I've only grown to like the Cure. They're very good, very good.
I don't know much about them, but I really like the song "Close to Me." That's a good one, and I don't know a couple of the others. I mean, they're good.
Friday, I'm in love. Yes, baby.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah,
it is Friday. What you, Dan? Are you a Cure man, or do you need a Cure?
Never really been massively aware of them. Who sung that great song? It was called "She Sells Sanctuary." Was that not the Cure?
Thinks. Mickey Fryers loves them. Mickey Fryers is in it. Loved Robert Smith, of course, his hair. Remember his hair? It was all over the shop, his hair. And he moved real slow and he was covered in cobwebs and he's singing it. It was real dark and somber, but very good marketing, actually, for an 80s band because they were, what were they? They were, what were they called? Cure heads, I think, at the time is what they were called, wasn't it? The Cult. Was that what it was?
The Cult, the Cult was She Sells Sanctuary.
Yeah, that was the song I was thinking of, and I always get them two mixed up. But the Cure, I'm not aware of. But that song, "She Sells Sanctuary," is absolutely brilliant. The Cult.
Yeah. No, listen, guys. The music. I don't be slagging the music today. I'm sure in 20 years we'll be saying something about the music. People saying it's crap today. I just think it's rubbish. I just think it's regurgitated drivel. Not much of it.
Good.
Not much.
It's the same percentage. A lot of music was a load of bollocks in the 70s and 80s as well, but the one that we still listen to now are the ones that stood the test of time. And so
I don't know anybody now, right now, a star now singing right now, say a top 20 star, 50
no,
star.
but not the pop music.
I don't know anybody.
Pop music is all marketed towards 13-year-old girls because that's the target market. Frank Zappa was talking about this in the 1980s. That like in Frank Zappa's day, the reason that he was allowed to put out so much experimental, out there progressive music was because the boss of the record company was some fat guy with a cigar and you'd walk into his office and he'd be smoking his cigar and he'd say, what have you got for me? And then they'd put on a record and he'd go, I don't know what that is, but all right, have some money. There you go. We'll put it out, see if it makes something. But then in the 80s, they had the same fat guy with the same cigar, but he had a marketing manager next to him who was showing him these pie charts of look at how we can attract this audience. And it's always the 12 to 14-year-old girls who had the, who would, and that's where bands like so many boy bands and girl bands and all that stuff, they came out from that time where it's just just pure manufactured stuff. And so now I don't know, like there's a lot of bland pop, but there's really good stuff out there. You just have to know where to look.
I think I get blinkered when I look at these days. But the other thing about it is, if you remember Jason Donovan and Kylie Minogue and Rick Astley, when they all came out at the same time under, who were the two guys that the producers? Stockade, three of them, yeah. Those three. I suppose some of the stuff they brought out was drivel, I suppose. Yeah, you have a point there. And they brought them out of like soaps, like Neighbours or whatever it was at the time. I suppose that's the way it
exercise. A marketing exercise.
Yeah. Like having Michael Edwards behind you. Michael Edwards behind you as a pop star. Guys, it's been absolutely fantastic. I've enjoyed every single nanosecond. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. As we said, Premier League's already kicked off. Brentford are 1-0 up against Arsenal, and that is nice to see.
Some things don't change, duty, Dave. Arsenal getting beat. It's like as a neutral, it's just mad to just watch the Arsenal fans in the stands. They're all depressed and we're half an hour into the new season. Sadly,
I
that
predicted
just
them for
Hey,
relegation.
but listen, Don Robbie over on Arsenal TV will be counting the money, won't he? Because he's going to get about 1 million hits in tonight, and it'll be another 5k in his back pockets.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Oh,
yeah,
that should be 2-0. Sorry, boys. That should be 2-0. Oh, how's he missed that?
You're behind anyway, Jack, because Mickey Fry's in the comments has already said it. I was aware of it. I can never get that, you know. Where is it? Is it that way? Oh, I just haven't got a clue.
I'm going to get you, Mickey. You should be spoiling it for me, lads.
Hey, Mickey, what a pity you don't understand. You're putting in your comments and you're later than you am. Remember that song, 80s style. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it. We're going to go. 3 legends, like Doug Tanyan and the 3 Muskehounds, will be leaving the floor. Big game tomorrow. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Super Reds. Just get the points. Get the points on the board. Let's win and let's go for this league, boys. Jack Mac LFC, Dan for the Mighty Reds TV, and Owen for the Cop On podcast. Stay safe, be real, you'll never walk alone. We'll do it again.
Later, everyone.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Eamon. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys, and thanks for the comments.